did we talk about Paul Gosar getting subpoenaed last week? I don't even remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think we did. Did we?
I have no fucking idea.
No, I don't think
it must have happened after we recorded. Look, man, it's been so much going on that I really like time. It just has no, like, days are just a blur. But yeah, so Gosar and Andy Biggs got subpoenas from the Arizona State Attorney General about their role in the fake elector plot.
I was picturing Jason Biggs.
No, Andy Biggs, not.
Or Titty Biggs.
Yeah, there you go. You nailed it. Way to nail our intro for the podcast, Carol.
Except that this is not a visual medium, but Ty's still here. You should just all know that. That's all again.
Yeah, Ty aimed the camera down from her face, and now she's fixing her breast into the Zoom camera.
Yes. Also, look at this gloriousness. You could kind of stuff under my sweatshirt.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, this is D Knight.
This is Carol.
This is Ty.
And you're listening to the Pardon the Insurrection podcast, where you. I don't know,
pardon insurrections. Remember?
Well, everybody knows that. Like, if someone's listening to this podcast,
like forgot, and we don't forget it.
If someone's listening to this podcast and they're expecting a pro pardon podcast, I can only imagine the severe levels of disappointment that they must be feeling after like one episode of the shit, because we are vehemently anti-insurrection and anti-pardon for insurrectionists. But obviously, it's been a lot of developments in the news. We'll get to those momentarily after our obligatory shout out to Sheets and Giggles. Make sure you go to sheetsandgiggles.com, pick you up a set of the most delightfully soft and luxurious sheets on planet Earth. Sheets so good that even if you bad in bed, like, these sheets will make your partner feel like you are awesome, like you the champion in the set. Ty would know, because she said she had a lot of amazing sex this morning. I don't know why she felt the need to. I don't know why.
Was it germane to this podcast? Yes, it was.
It'll tie in momentarily. Trust me on that. Because as you may have heard, that whole Roe v. Wade thing is casting its shadow over the Republican Party. Yes, that's like a play on the fact that we had a national obsession out of nowhere with the solar eclipse yesterday. Did either of you two happen to?
Out of nowhere? I mean, it's pretty cool.
I'm at the obsession, right? Like, I didn't actually realize so many people would be excited about a solar eclipse. So I live in Tennessee, in case you somehow didn't know that. And I think it was 2016 when we had like one of the last eclipses where you had like a total eclipse go over the path of the United States, and like the line of sight was directly over Nashville. So, we got the chance to check that out. I happened to be at a place, this Army Supply store, where they was giving out some free glasses to a few people. So I got to check it out. I mean, I guess it's cool, but to be honest, pictures of eclipses, like really good high quality pictures, are actually better than looking at the thing through the damn glasses. So I guess I'm poo-pooing like an exciting event for hundreds of thousands of people across the country. Shame on me.
Well, I had fun and my kids had fun, and I saw a nice unverified chart this morning showing an increase of Google searches for "why do my eyes hurt?"
That is hilarious, because I bet like optometrists all across the country was sitting there rubbing their hands, ready for some money, like an internet meme or something. It's like, yeah, baby, bring on this eclipse. We about to get 150% boost in appointments, baby. Why do my eyes hurt? Luckily for us, we have a president in office who doesn't stare directly into solar eclipses. Because I feel like when it happened in 2017, like, of all the shit Trump had done up until he got into the office. Like, I think you can kind of, like, if you're pro Trump, like, you can kind of look at like the porn star thing and the hush money is like, yeah, that's crass, but okay, I would still vote for the guy. Or like conspiring with Russia to rig an election. You might look at that and be like, you know, he just really wanted to win. He was willing to do whatever it takes. You kind of make excuses for that. The Muslim ban, you could be like, well, 9/11, like, get the terrorists, even though like conflating Muslims with terrorists has got its own problems.
And you could fast forward like 7 years now, and you can justify anything by now.
Okay,
and now you are.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry.
Well, what I was getting at is like when he looked up at that and stared in the fucking eclipse with no glasses on, that's the moment you got to be like, all right, this motherfucker's too stupid to be president.
Oh my God. I never tire of that picture when he's, and the way his stupid fucking face looks.
Oh my God.
Where he's like,
I had a Twitter account at the time, but I wasn't really active on it like that at that point in time. I must have missed out on an absolute glorious day of shit posting because that was fucking bananas. But more importantly than that, so back to Roe versus Wade, since that's been repealed, and of course, if you're listening to this, I'm sure you're aware of the news in Arizona. That is going to, that's going to be a huge issue come November. But if you missed it, Arizona Supreme Court, they allowed a law from 1864 to go into effect in the state of Arizona, effectively banning abortion in the entirety of the state. And this comes on the heels of Trump taking credit for repealing Roe versus Wade just the day before, where even though he lied and claimed Democrats also wanted it, he failed to state whether or not he is for or against a federal abortion ban, totally dodging the fucking question, which, seems extraordinarily important given that he's running for president. We kind of need to know these things.
well, it was completely on brand.
And I also think that, I mean, he's not going to have any sort of discretion, but I think maybe they're realizing their recent trend of being more honest than usual about their plan hasn't been popular. So they may just be going back to lying again, like, yeah, we would leave it to the states. Like what they said before, it should be up to the states. And then they can,
Unless they're removing him from the ballot.
the
Unless they're removing
federal
him
ban.
from the ballot, then that's
Oh yeah,
not
it's
up to
states' rights when it's something convenient for them, and it's not states' rights when it's something that's inconvenient for them. Got it. Totally on board with that. Now, look, anybody like in the media's obsession here, because they couldn't wait to jump on the fact that Trump didn't outright say that he was for a federal abortion ban, which I feel like is insane given his track record of lying about, like you said, things like when they're inconvenient for him, he's totally willing to lie. But also, like, he literally in the same couple of sentences was like, yeah, I'm the one who is responsible for the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and then immediately lied after that and said everybody wanted that. No, it was like the least popular decision in it was one of the least popular Supreme Court decisions in modern history. And like the idea that he's willing to lie about
do you think
that.
he's like lying, or he's just doesn't have the wherewithal to know that other people don't always agree with him?
No, Carol, I know he was lying about that, because the fact that he was willing to that he wouldn't necessarily go so far as to say, yes, I want a total abortion ban, federal abortion ban, or no, I don't. Like the way he hedged it, you could only do that if you knew that it was an unpopular position with both your base. If you don't want it. Yeah. And unpopular with the majority of Americans if you do. So like he tried to
surrounded only by sycophants who won't tell you anything but what you want to hear.
Well, that's why he took credit for it. that was the sycophant part. Like, he couldn't wait to take credit for the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, but he threaded the needle with the federal ban, which again just proves that, like, while he may at sometimes be insane, he does have the political savvy, or at least enough to know that something that's obviously that unpopular is obviously that unpopular.
Well, it seems like a couple of them do. And I mean, Arizona, the Republican politicians there weren't responding favorably to it either. Like, they know it's going to fuck their chances. I mean, I was just reading that Kari Lake was like, no, this isn't good. We should put it to legislation.
Yeah, well, this is ironic because
I know she's not actually an elected official, though.
yeah, former candidate for governor, like whoop-de-doo. But yeah, it's ironic because as she was campaigning in 2022, she's like literally on video saying, actually, this post-Civil War ban on abortion, it's awesome. It's great. I love it. She couldn't get enough of it then. And now that, like, again, it's like the dog that caught the car. Now that they've got what they were clamoring for all of this time, they're like, actually, this shit is super unpopular and we shouldn't take credit for the thing we supported this entire time and hope no one notices. Yeah, look, this is a huge deal. If you're listening to this, like, maybe you don't live in a state where, abortion is on the ballot one way or the other. Maybe you live in a blue state where you have, abortion protected on the books, or maybe you live in a red state, like me, where abortion's already been made illegal. You're like, oh man, what does this Arizona ruling have to do with you? Well, a lot. For one, Arizona, given the set of circumstances with the number of other swing states, it could be what decides the White House. It could be the difference between you getting another 4 years of President Biden, or 4 years of a Republican who will institute a federal ban, which will affect you regardless of whether you live in a blue state or not. And then also, there's a Senate seat up for grabs, and there is the potential that with a Democratic president and a Democratic controlled Senate and House, if they were willing to change the rules on the filibuster, they could pass a federal law enshrining Roe v. Wade, and making sure that even with red states who have laws on the books banning abortion, that abortion access is made available in those states. So this one state could change things for everyone across the country, for better or worse, depending on the outcome. A little side note, so there's also going to be at this point, there's some groups taking signatures up for a ballot measure to put abortion access into the state constitution in Arizona, something similar to what's going on in Florida. And, theoretically, should things play out like they did in 2020, but Biden wins Florida and Arizona, he could lose Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, and Georgia, and still win the White House. So,
damn.
Yeah. If abortion, or the right to access to abortion is enough to bring people out to vote for Biden, or at least, suppress the vote for Republicans in Arizona and Florida, and Biden picks those up, he's damn near guaranteed his path to victory in November. So just keep that in mind, guys. And I hate to minimize, like, the effect this will have on people in these states. Like, I don't want to take away from that, but that is a microcosm of a larger issue. So if you just zoom out a little bit, like, of course, this stuff is important to the residents of those states, but it also can have a huge impact on all of us.
So yeah, I mean, here I'm in Texas. I'm high risk, and in 2001, I had an ectopic pregnancy that it ruptured before I left the hospital. And the last thing that I fucking remember is I was strapped to a gurney, taken to an emergency room, and had 3 fucking procedures, one of which was a DNC. If this had happened today, I would not be fucking alive. That my doctor did not have to think about or question whether her license was going to be revoked or that she wouldn't be able to. She gave me the best care. And I remember waking up and they explained to me what the fuck had happened and everything that they did. So
yeah, there's going to be women who are in a similar position as you who aren't going to make it because these laws are on the books. And, you know, it's not like we don't want to make it all about, I mean, it's not that, you know, women they deserve to get to make decisions about how they start their families and when in those circumstances. But beyond that, there are a lot of medical procedures involving abortion that exist solely for the health of women, and just to have that outlawed as well is going to result in the loss of lives. It's going to be unfortunate. And again, I would remain sensitive to that. And also, a little side note here, I knew I shouldn't have started off with this because it always brings us down on this part. Like, none of us are excited to talk about this. It's always a bummer. And we're all, Ty is a wreck now. So that concludes this episode of Part of the Insurrection. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, the mood is ruined. We're all sour and somber now for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, we were trying to have a fun, cool conversation about abortion rights being restricted.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good.
Sorry,
good luck.
I brought the mood down.
No.
Here's my boobs.
No. She's giving us boobs. They look really nice.
No,
anyway, I guess
I wasn't complaining. I was just trying to address the, because, and I'll never forget this because when we recorded our first episode, it was basically on the eve of, well, it was like right after Dobbs, and not that I'm not happy to have the opportunity and the platform to talk about it, but fuck, was that heartbreaking to start off your podcasting endeavor with such a dark and dreary moment for just so many people. I mean, just like an example of how fucking deleterious the effects are of that decision. Just all these red states who've outlawed abortion, like even in cases of rape and incest. And then you look around and there's, since that decision, there's something like 60,000 pregnancies that resulted from rape. That's insane. Like, just anyway, I brought the mood down again. I apologize.
We'll look back to something fun, like how we can be happy about those people's misfortunes, because
yeah, but
it's gonna be a galvanizing issue, and it's gonna bring people to the polls in November, as you were saying. So
yeah, I mean, again, I wish we didn't have this issue to run on. I'm not like Republicans where they're complaining about the border, but they won't actually fix it because they want to run on the problem. No, I would much rather not have this problem, and then not have it. Yes. And then, there would be women's lives who were saved, and then we would just have to find something else to run on in November. But as you were saying, yes, let us celebrate and have a joyous occasion at the downfall of others that we hate because they're trash. Like the fact that shares of Trump's. Well, his media, the
Trump Media and Technology Group.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say the Truth Social parent company, Trump Media and Technology Group, shares of that company have completely tanked, losing 53% of their value from their high 2 weeks ago. I think I'm not sure what it closed at today because I forgot to check after the stock exchange closed, but I saw it at somewhere around, what was it, $3 per share. I mean, $37 per share, $3 per share. That's 2 weeks from now.
Geez, that went around. I didn't have a reference point, so I've heard it's gone down like 1,000% from what you just said. Never mind.
No, I think it's at it's at $37 a share, somewhere around there, 36 maybe. It was in the 70s 2 weeks ago at its high, not long after its peak. And I know this is probably eating away at Trump because, like, he's not in a position to sell his shares of stock, and obviously is going to keep going down and down. And by the time he does have the opportunity to sell some shares, it probably won't be worth shit, unless we've got foreign adversaries propping it up.
Or it's like an insurance company. It's backed by an insurance company that does bonds.
Or sells subprime loans. Yeah.
Can you get an insurance policy on a stock price? I don't know. Cause I think it's funny. I mean, it's not funny. Obviously it's terrible, but, so like there's this instance for like collegiate athletes who are projected to go on the draft, right? They can take out insurance, against their future contract in the case of injury or something, where even though they haven't made it to the league, like they can take out a contract against what, their perceived value would be. I wonder if you can take out insurance against like the perceived stock loss. I mean, I guess if you're Trump, you could probably short the stock. It's legal.
Oh, that's definitely what he did.
Yeah, you could, like, he can't sell his shares of True Social, but he can have someone else short the stock, knowing that the price is going to fall, and try and double dip. Anyway, who knows? But his personal stake in the company now is down to a 2.9-ish billion. That is a $3.32 billion loss from the initial public offering. He lost a lot of net worth. I know what's really eating away at him is that, like, this thing finally got him on the Bloomberg billionaire list, the launch of his company, and then now 2 weeks later he's off of it.
It's just short-lived.
Yeah, he's such a vain individual. I think do you remember that story from Michael Cohen, talking about how he paid $50,000 or something to get on the Forbes 400 or something like that? Was it the Forbes 400? Or maybe he paid $50,000 to get like a higher ranking or something like that. The lengths this dude is willing to go to seem as though he has more money than he actually does. Like,
well, now I just think that the Forbes 400 list is just for anybody. Oh.
If he was willing to go through these links to actually engage in good business practices, he would have as much money as he would, as he pretends to be worth. It's beyond insane. And we do have an update from that Colorado accounting firm, the one that did the initial evaluation of the True Social company since the merger.
Yes.
The one I was saying, did I ask you this? Have you seen The Accountant, Ty, with Ben Affleck in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We spoke about that last week.
Yes. Well, this guy that he hired is basically like that firm. Like, it looks like some shit that should be in a strip mall somewhere with like a laundromat next to it, like the Chinese restaurant. That's what this shit looks like. It's one dude, right? And he handles he really handles some low revenue companies. The fact that he's handling like a multi-billion-dollar initial public offering is insane. Also, it appears as though this financial auditor, has a 100% deficiency rate in his evaluations. That's like a restaurant getting 100% 1-star rates or votes or something.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's not ideal circumstance. I mean, it's not it's not equal. It's not like a 1-to-1 comparison to like a Yelp review, but it's not ideal. This is not the type of person that you want looking at the finances of a multi-billion-dollar company. And not
And
the
yet
truth.
I'm not surprised that that's the kind of person we found looking at it for him.
Yes, it's very
That is
ironic.
true.
But to give this dude some credit, though, he did accurately express a lot of concerns about the valuation of the company and its ability to make revenue and continue to function. He was pretty straightforward about the fact that it's a very distressed company and probably won't be around. So he did that. Kudos to him on at least managing to get that far. I'm surprised they actually kept him after that because, well, obviously this dude can't lie because with that comes an SEC investigation and potential charges. So you got to kind of keep it on the up and up, especially when this thing is obviously failing. I still don't know how this dude lost $60 million on a website in a year. It's a website.
Right?
It's not like Twitter where there's like this massive tech organization. It's a regular fucking website. No offense to my guy, Christopher Boozy over there at Spoutable. He ain't lost no $60 million building Spoutable.
Oh, you said lost. And they said earned. I was like, isn't that the point?
No. Well, it's earned. It didn't. Well,
Sorry, I'm distracted. There's a stink bug on my microphone.
That's
All
unfortunate.
around there. I swear he was just making eye contact with me. Like I could squish him to death, but he might jump at me. So it's pretty evenly matched.
Maybe he was just enjoying watching the podcast.
Maybe. Yeah. He's saying something right now. Probably broadcasting to all the other stink bugs, and now we're gonna have a takeover. I should never have let him get this close to the microphone.
All right, Pardon the Stink Bug podcast, episode 1. Let's go.
And we just had a little speculative stink bug spinoff there. Carry on.
Speaking of bugs, given that we've had the earthquake and then the eclipse, and we're set to have like these STD infected locusts ravage the country here over the course of the summer. Yeah, you didn't hear?
I didn't hear they had STDs.
Yeah, it's one of the plagues. The STDs and the locusts, they combine to make these horny, overly sexual, active locusts that are controlled by like some zombie
horny locust.
Some zombie virus. It's some The Last of Us level type shit.
Shut up.
You think I'm not making this up? Look at my face. Audience, I know you can't see my face. I was talking to Carol. Look at my. Where's the joke?
No, I reject this.
Why would I make it up? I don't. Okay.
Okay.
Feel free to Google it.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at. I'm gonna have a
Yes.
panic attack, and it's your fault because you wouldn't let me reject your information.
I'm sorry. You should have got raptured yesterday. Hate to disappoint you.
Rapture.
Yeah, but I'm excited for Trump's True Social, Untrue Social. I keep stumbling over that because I hate that it's the same shit with like Fox News. They put news in the fucking title to get you to associate the company with something that's not. It's inaccurate. And this thing with like True Social where it's nothing but lies but they don't. It's not titled ironically like our podcast. So I like to say Untrue Social. I stumble over that all the time, but I'm eventually going to nail that down. Don't you worry, kids. But yes, the fact that like Trump had a glimmer of billions of dollars of net worth, he got a little taste of it and is about to lose it is actually more exciting for me than if he had never gotten it at all. Like it makes me feel better that he was like
better to have loved $1 billion and lost
it.
never had $1 billion at all.
All right, Shakespeare.
We almost never got to ask Trump that.
Okay, yeah, he's the Shakespeare fraud.
He briefly had $1 billion recorded, even though it was pursuant to one of his frauds, which I'm sure we'll find out why it was a fraud. And then maybe he can be prosecuted for the fake numbers that got him on that list.
I think it was closer to 7 billion. It was, high 6 billion. Yep. And he was almost there. He was so close.
Almost.
I mean, can you imagine how fucked up it is to feel like Yeah, I'm worth almost $7 billion on paper, and then you can't get any money out of it, and then you lose all of that. Like, I would lose my shit, to be honest. All right, can we like rather roam off topic for just a second?
Yeah, because you got me looking up cicada STD.
Okay, this is more on topic than that. But like, can you imagine trying to run for president as you're facing all these fucking criminal trials, as you're facing all these fucking civil trials, and you just lost like two, and it's going to cost you over $500 million, but you also are like trying to scheme your way into making this website that you know is losing money, that was only being held afloat by this loan from Russians, some shady ass Russians that are also connected to a plot to try and remove Biden from office. Like, and then you're trying to get this thing to just like limp along and to get, make it to this SPAC merger after the SPAC merger was under criminal investigation and was fined by the SEC. And you're like, oh, we finally made it. Now I've got my fucking $6 billion. And then you're like watching that deteriorate every single day. And it's like, it's only been 2 weeks and now it's worth half the money. And now you can't even sell it. And you're like, how in fucking sane must this be driving him? Like, how does he, like, what kind of sociopath must he be to be able to even function with all of this shit going on? And then his wife hates him and he won't let Lauren Boebert suck his dick no more. And like, his ex-wife died. He had to bury her on the golf course. And then Melania's mom died and he probably don't even know her fucking name. And then she was like, got here by chain migration. He hates fucking immigrants. Like, for the man to continue to just wake up every day and exist, like, I don't think I could even just, like, I wouldn't get out of bed.
That energy, the exhausting fucking energy that he has just to fucking hate is incredulous to me. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. And
but part of it ain't even hate, right? He is at this point running. He's just like, this is his existence on the line, right? Because he could be going to jail. Like, if he loses his election, he's going to jail. He's definitely going broke. He won't be able to have the powers of the federal government to protect him from all these civil judgments or these trials. Like, but even with all that pressure, if I was in the same situation, I might be curled up in the bed like a fucking baby sucking my thumb, because it's bananas. Like, that he is able to stand in front of a camera and try and pretend to recite some crazy shit. Like, I honestly don't know how he has it in him. Well, I say that, but if you watch his speeches here lately at the few rallies that he's held, he's clearly not holding it together. He's actually crazy. He says crazy shit. Like the doubling down. Like, first of all, when he called immigrants animals the other day, and then not only did he like call immigrants animals, he like doubled down on it to the point where he was like, I know they say I shouldn't do it. They say I shouldn't cut, but they're animals. His fucking thing. He like, he's totally lost it. Except for today when he was yesterday when he was trying to walk back the federal abortion ban. For some reason, that was like the point in which he decided to get it together. All right, back on topic here.
So I got distracted because I had to read about the fucking cicadas, but I just want you to know that it says that the spores that are growing on them produce an amphetamine. So I'm imagining there's going to be trillions of fucking amphetamine cicadas flying around, making people are going to start eating them and becoming hypersexual. But if they do, part of the deal of the hypersexuality fungal STD is that your genitals are actually replaced by the fungus, so all of your mating is unsuccessful. But you, I mean a cicada.
Yes, exactly. Way to clarify that. That's important information.
This is a cicada disease, and they won't make more cicadas because all their freaking junk falls off.
Yeah, our
You know, it
our
was-
listeners need to know that doesn't apply to their genitalia. Like your
There's no cicada
vaginas.
getting. There'll be a lot of
Your
cicadas
clit
and then they'll
is
die.
safe.
Yes, your clit is
Your
marked
clit
safe
is
from
safe.
You will
the
not yet get
the
the
cicada STD. Your
fungus.
vagina's not going to fall off. Your dick's not going to shrivel up and turn into fungus. That's very important information for our audience who clearly came here to talk about cicada STDs.
Well, you've made me, man.
No, I was just saying
You
that
set
because
me out. Okay, so anyway, the next thing of stuff.
yeah, perfect transition.